Good noon to all. Today discuss about PRPT, petroleum refining and petrochemical technology. Unit number 5, treatment and techniques. The most important chapter છે 21 marks નો cover થાય છે આમાંથી. જેમાં first of all જોઈશું આપણે introduction part, some fractions, impurities. એની two types છે physical and mechanical impurities. This one. Okay, તો start કરીએ આપણે introduction part for treatment and techniques for fractions impurities. So first one. In general, all petroleum fractions require some kind of the treatment in consequences with the specifications. Okay, simply a specification part for any crude oil. Okay, any require petroleum crude oil for such treatment widely vary from the fraction to fractions. Okay, એને કહેવાય છે આપણે chain of treatment. This one, chain of treatments is unavoidable from the rigorous of treatment is proportional to the corrosive and Indian constitute. Which one they in the fractions? Okay, simply such treatment widely vary from the fraction to fraction form. Which one? Fraction to fraction. And sometimes a chain treatment is unavoidable. The rigorousness of a treatment is proportional to the corrosive and Indian constitute in fractions. The fractions from naphthenic crude are obviously subjected to the such drastic treatment. Okay, અમુક ટ્રીટમેન્ટ છે એના બેસિસ પર આપણે જોઈશું કે which one treatment for first part, the lead doctor of sweetening. Okay, sweetening product ની જોવાની છે આપણે process. Then after catalytic desulfurization. Then the third one, mercaptan oxidation यानी कि मेरोक्स. Okay, then after જોઈશું આપણે treatment of kerosene by liquid sulfur dioxide extraction. Then after solvent extraction process જેમાં fural, phenol and due to sol extraction process. Then after dewaxing techniques without solvent and with solvent. Then after ketone dewaxing and propane dewaxing. Okay, this part for a treatment and technique you. Okay, and for this part, the fraction and impurities part 1. The general all the petroleum crude require some kind of treatment in a consist with the specification. Such treatment widely vary from the fraction to fraction, and also and sometime a chain of treatment is unavoidable. The rigorousness of treatment is proportional to the corrosive and Indian constitute in fractions. Okay, the fractions from naphthenic crudes are obviously subjected to such drastic treatment. Okay, obviously subjected to such drastic treatment. Then all the fractions contain impurities. Okay, all the fractions contain impurities which can be classified. Okay, which can be classified under two headings, namely the mechanical and chemical. Okay, this is classified under two heading, namely mechanical and chemical. એના two types છે જે ટ્રીટમેન્ટ અને ટેકનિકને આપણે ફાઇન્ડ કરીએ છીએ. ટ્રીટમેન્ટ અને ટેકનિક. Okay, then after the first one, physical and mechanical. Okay, the source for mechanical impurities are planetary. During the mining, crude of the contaminated with dust, mud, moisture and processing operation may be bring the catalyst dust. Okay, this one is a important line, this one. Okay, so source for mechanical impurities માં કયા કયા source આવશે? And they are planetary. During mining, crude may be contaminated with dust, mud and moisture, and processing operation may be bring catalyst, dust, moisture or solvent. Okay, the droplets etc. individuality, all these have to be separated first. Okay, in the case is for a mechanical impurities જેમાં કઈ કઈ વસ્તુ આવશે? Contaminated with the dust, mud and moisture content, and the processing operation may be bring For a dust and moisture are solvent, for a droplets, etc. In inducibility, all these have to be separated first. Okay, and in cases of gases, okay, do you supply in cases of gases, dust particles, moisture droplets, and oily matters are such physical impurities. Okay, this can be removed by a solvent, wash, cheap solvent for such wash in water. This can be removed by a solvent, wash, cheap solvent for a such wash in water. Oil matter can be dissolved by passing the gas through the gas oil are any convenient the fractions. After water was drying and usually restored when the gases are treated for removal of chemical impurities. Okay, in this part માં જે કીધું છે the mechanical impurities છે અને physical impurities છે. એમાં particle, moisture content, droplets, oil matter are physical impurities. Okay, and the mechanical માં mud, okay, which one is a mud, dust, moisture, is all part for a mechanical impurities. This can be removed by a solvent was cheap solvent as a water. Oil matter can be dissolved by passing through a gas oil, any convenient fractions. Okay, now after the wash drying is usually restored to the when the gases are treated for removal of the impurities, chemical impurities. This one. The solution are employed in such cases separate water spray. Washing of a gas may be not to be necessary unless content of the suspended impurities is very high. Okay, the suspended impurities are very high and the physical impurities from the liquid fractions can be easily separated. Okay, the physical impurities from liquid fractions can be easily separated by subjecting to settling in a tower for any convenient. Okay, for a convenient size and then the filtering. The any moisture content is removed by the suitable dehydratant agents. Okay, them simply part for a physical impurities from liquid fractions can be easily separated by a subjecting to settling in tower to convenient size and them filtering. પછી એને filter કરશે and moisture is removed by using suitable dehydratant any agent. Okay, this is the first part for a treatment techniques for fractions impurities, physical or mechanical impurities. Okay, second point જોઈએ આપણે this one. First discussion part for chemical impurities. These exist in all fractions to varying extent. Okay, these exist in all fractions to varying extents. The most of them exhibit close boiling range in per with the fractions, which renders separations by distillation. Okay, in impossible. As an example, impurities in a liquefied petroleum gas streams. Again repeated, these exist in all the fractions to varying extent. Most of them they exhibit close boiling range in per with the fractions, which renders the separations by distillation impossible. As an example, impurities in LPG streams by mercaptans oxidation જેને મેરોક્સ કહીએ છીએ આપણે in unsaturated of C3 and C4 all boil at the same temperature. In fact, the unsaturated may be not eventually cases any inconvenience in the burning as they aid the flame propagations very much, hence their presence may be not in a such mixture. અમુક મિક્સચર એવા હશે જેમાં પેન્ટેન અને બ્યુટેનના મિક્સચર્સ હશે જે એટ ધ સેમ ટેમ્પરેચર પર હોય અને ઇનફેક્ટ જે અનસેચ્યુરેટ મે બી ઇવેન્ચ્યુઅલી કમ્પોનન્ટ્સ છે ફોર ઇનકન્વીનિયન્સ જે સળગી શકે નથી ઇટ્સ બર્નિંગ સળગી શકે they aid the flame of the propagations very much and hence their presence to the maybe not be a bar in a such mixture but rich amount any amount વધારે હશે. of these unsaturated are undesirable due to the fear of the impending gum formation, polymers. Then after sulfur, nitrogen and oxygens, જે compounds છે, are major impurities all the fractions of all the objectional sulfur had to be least any gaseous form. Sulfur is presented for other than mercaptan as a hydrogen sulfide, carbonyl sulfide, carbon disulfide and sulfonyl chloride. Okay, thus spree escape of these components in a liquefied petroleum gas due to the close boiling point has been perceived, and the result of number treatment and techniques for has been devised. Okay, this is a part for a discussion for a chemical treatment. Okay, જે આપણે ફર્સ્ટ પાર્ટ જોયું ફિઝિકલ ઓર મિકેનિકલ ઇમ્પ્યુરિટીઝમાં, જેમાં એ ના કેમિકલ ઇમ્પ્યુરિટીઝ છે. Okay, this is exist on all fractions for a very extending most of the exhibitions close boiling range in a range per in a with fractions which renders the separations by decision impossible. For any example, for a liquefied petroleum gas streams are mercaptan and unsaturated for a propane and butane all boil at the same temperature. In fact, the unsaturated may be not eventually the cause any inconvenience in a burning as they have the flame for a propagations. Okay, then after the very much and their presence of maybe not such mixers but a rich amount of this unsaturated undesirable. Okay, જેની impurities વધારે હશે કોઈની ઓછી હશે. Okay, due to the fear to impending gum formations. Okay, એને આપણે કઈ રીતે કરીશું, રેડ વેપર પ્રેશર અમુક કન્ડિશન્સ આવશે ગેસોલિનની ટ્રીટમેન્ટ. ઓકે, એ જોઈશું આપણે. એમાં લીડ ટોટરિંગ ઓફ ગેસોલિન, કેટાલિટિક ડિસલ્ફરાઇઝેશન પ્રોસેસ આવશે, મેરોક્સ મર્કેપ્ટિન ઓક્સિડેશન જે આવશે એ જોઈશું. then after sulfur, nitrogen and oxygen compound છે એ major impurities in all fractions. Okay, then after of all these objectable, sulfur hits the least in a gaseous from the sulfur is present other than a mercaptan as hydrogen sulfide, carbonyl sulfide, carbon disulfide and also sulfonyl chloride. The spread escape of the components into the LPG liquefied petroleum gas due to the close boiling point has been perceived, and as a result the number of treatment technique have been devised for nitrogen and oxygen compound are slightly different in their reactants with ordinary chemicals and sometimes require special for any producers. Okay, then after removal of sulfur compound that cause damage is known as the sweetening product. હવે કહીશું કે સ્વીટનિંગ પ્રોડક્ટ કોને કહેવાય આપણે, the removal of simply the sulfur compound that cause damage, કોઈ બી ડેમેજ થયા વગર આપણને જે કમ્પાઉન્ડ મળે સલ્ફર is known as a sweetening, જે એને કહીશું આપણે સ્વીટનિંગ પ્રોસેસ. એ પ્રોસેસ આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરવાની છે ફ્લો ડાયાગ્રામ સાથે, એ જોઈશું. Usually acidic sulfur can be removed by the washing with any amines for any caustics for doctoring in a principally based upon the following criteria. જે criteria એને follow કરવાના છે. The first one, either criteria. First one, oxidizing mercaptans of disulfide. Second one, physical extraction in a saturated destruction of sulfur bearing compounds એના basis પર હશે. Okay, then after to be catalyst conversions in the presence of hydrogen. જે all these above method છે, જે first one છે oxidizing mercaptan of disulfides, physical extraction in situations for destruction of sulfur bearing compounds. Fourth one is the catalytic conversions in the presence of hydrogen. All these above method are in a practice, although the last mentioned method is universally accumulated accompanied depending upon this chemical or chemical importance of this product. The severity of the treatment also increases. Okay, this is a part for a purpose of method for a sulfur removal. ઓકે, જેમાં આપણે ફિઝિકલ અને કેમિકલ ઇમ્પ્યોરિટીઝ જોઈ. ઓકે, તો થેન્ક યુ સો મચ. નેક્સ્ટ લેક્ચરમાં આપણે જોઈશું ડોક્ટર ઓફ સ્વીટનિંગ પ્રોસેસ, લીડ ડોક્ટરિંગ ઓફ ગેસોલિન કહેવાય ને એને. ઇઝ અ સિમ્પલી ડિસ્કશન પાર્ટ ફોર અ રિએક્શન્સ અબાઉટ એની, એ તમારી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ હતી. એના પછી આપણે જોઈશું એક્સટ્રેક્શન પ્રોસેસ છે તેવી નથી જવાની, આપણે ડોક્ટરિંગ ઓફ સ્વીટનિંગ પ્રોસેસ જોઈશું. થોડુંક રિવિઝન જોઈ લઈએ. ફિઝિકલમાં કઈ કઈ વસ્તુ આવે છે? વિથ અ ડસ્ટ, મડ એન્ડ મોઇશ્ચર કમ્પોનન્ટ છે, જે તમારી સાની છે મિકેનિકલ ઇમ્પ્યોરિટીઝ છે. હવે ફિઝિકલ ઇમ્પ્યોરિટીઝ કઈ છે? એમાં oil matters, moisture matters, then after gas, dust particles, moisture droplets in also in this part. Okay, then after આપણે chemical impurities જોઈ. કેમિકલમાં આવે છે મોસ્ટ ઓફ ધ ઓલ ફ્રેક્શન્સ ફોર અ બ્યુટેન અને પ્રોપેન. ઓકે, સલ્ફર, નાઇટ્રોજન, ઓક્સિજન કમ્પાઉન્ડ આર મેજર ઇમ્પ્યોરિટીઝ છે એના માટે, ઓલ ધ ફ્રેક્શન્સ માટે. ઓકે, તો થેન્ક યુ સો મચ. નેક્સ્ટ લેક્ચરમાં આપણે જોઈશું ડોક્ટર સ્વીટનિંગ પ્રોસેસ. થેન્ક યુ.